know what she said, she might just change your life.
His name is Patrick Harrison, and he's the founder and CEO of CoreChair Inc. and CoreFit. And we are sitting on your invention.
I'm glad you said we weren't sitting on his lap.
No, we're not. We're not. And this, this is a very special chair. And why don't you tell us what this is all about, Patrick?
Well,
what it's supposed to do.
First of all, thank you for having me on your show, Christine and Kate. This is an honor.
You don't get out much, obviously.
Yeah, my first time. Yes, so, and I'm really happy that you guys are sitting on this chair because this is really what you guys do most of your day.
Yeah, and I left yesterday thinking, what have I done to my back? But I mean, they say sitting is the new smoking, and this. Well, why don't you start by telling us what the adverse effects are of sitting, because you are a kinesiologist as well as a seat engineer.
Absolutely. So probably there's two real fundamental issues here. One is the fact that when you sit for a long period of time, and everybody's heard the term the sitting disease and the perils of sitting. Sitting's the new smoking. And so there's a real physiological impact of sitting and not moving, but it's all about sedentary. So it's really about movement. The other thing that's really paramount, and one that people can relate to most, kind of like your diet and things like that, is the problem of back pain. So we can relate to when we've been sitting for a while. Kate, you probably more than the rest of us right now.
Yeah.
But when you've been sitting for a period of time and you get up and you can feel that you're all seized up and it takes like 5, 6, or 8 steps to kind of limber up and loosen up. So there's a lot of things that are happening biomechanically to your body when you're not moving. So our bodies are designed to move. And that's really what this is all about.
So tell us about your solution then, which is the CoreChair.
Correct. So my background is in kinesiology, as Kate mentioned, and my previous world was designing specialized seating solutions for people in wheelchairs. So this is a population that would get up in the morning and they would sit all day until they went to bed at night. And they did that because they had to. So that business I sold many years ago, and about 8 years ago got inspired by the number of people who were actually taking an exercise ball into the office.
Well, I tried that when I was doing CTV Newsnet because my back was so bad, and I sat on the exercise ball until my lovely producer, Paul Jones, pointed out that the view of me from behind, from the newsroom, sitting on the ball was possibly not one I wanted to, to be displaying. And he took a photograph for me, and I went, oh my God! And that was the end of the exercise ball. But I was just going to say, before you mentioned that this kind of reminds me of sitting on the exercise ball, but the back covers my back side, which is what was not looking so attractive while sitting on the ball.
Yeah, so probably the biggest issue that you'd find sitting on a ball, or even women have a tendency to sit out on the front edge of their seat. It's called perching. And us guys, we tend to slump, just kind of drop into the chair, and it just stops us from hitting the floor. But if you can imagine, if you could take one arm, and I'll get you just to join me in this, because we're going to extend an arm out to the right-hand side. We're just going to hold that there for a minute, and we'll keep talking. But the problem is that when we're assuming a bad position sitting in the chair and we're not supporting our pelvis, then we have to engage our core muscles. And eventually, as you can start to feel now your arm that's extended out, you can start to feel your shoulder getting a little tingly, getting a little burn, because you're engaging that muscle constantly. It's the same thing is happening with your core when you're trying to hold your position up. Keep your arm up. So now what I want you to do is take that arm, drop it down a little bit, and just start moving it around. And you can just feel, now you got some muscle stimulation, you got some blood flow, and it feels a lot better.
Right.
And that's really what this is all about.
Because the seat wobbles.
Yes.
It wobbles. And that's part of the exercises that you give people to do when they're sitting on the chair, a reminder kind of.
So if they're sitting in front of a computer, you have a CD or something that they can sort of do a little 1-minute
Yeah, in fact,
routine every once in a while?
There's a couple of different ways to look at it. One is that when you're sitting and you've got an adjustment in the resistance on it, so you can shift it all the way forward so that you've got a very mobilized pelvis.
Yes, you can.
And it articulates immediately beneath your center of balance. So it really stimulates your metabolism, your core muscles, really gets things happening that you otherwise wouldn't have happening.
So what have you noticed are the effects from people sitting on this?
Probably the most common feedback that we've gotten so far is a significant reduction in low back pain in particular.
Okay.
There's a phrase in the therapeutic world that motion is lotion. And the idea is that if you don't move, then you don't get blood flow, you don't get healing. So if you go to the therapist 2 or 3 times a week because you've got a back problem and you sit on a therapeutic ball, you may be doing it for 15 or 20 minutes a session. Whereas in the chair, you can do it all day.
This is perfect for an office chair, really, a desk chair, then, because people can sort of move around every once in a while. I mean, you can still sit at a computer and work and sort of move, rotate a little bit.
Yeah, and in fact, I would preface that by saying that this is not the solution for a modern office setting, but certainly the direction that the modern office is going is to introduce more movement, different positions, walking meetings.
Why is this not the solution?
It's part of the solution.
Okay.
I still encourage that people will get up and move around, have walking meetings. When you're talking on the phone, walk around when you're doing that. Just keep changing your position throughout the day.
Mm-hmm.
But the reality is that we're going to sit a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
The whole idea of stand-up desks came in the last 5 to 10 years.
We have a couple of women out here that have the stand-up desk, and you know, we see Kara. Like, she goes up and she's working for a bit, and then she goes down. And I know Antonia Zerbesius has one. She's been raving about it, saying at least she's getting some movement. But when you're a writer and you're at home, or you're doing social media, or you're a student, you know, working a lot. I mean, my girls do their homework on their laptop stretched out across their bed, right?
Yeah.
So
No, I sit at the computer for 3, 4, sometimes 5 hours a day, and then we sit in here.
Mm-hmm.
So
and we sit in the car
you
driving
sit,
here.
Sit in the car driving
Right.
here. So I got a Fitbit, and I try to make sure I get 10,000 steps and it's amazing how quickly you can do that if you're conscious of it. But I was never conscious before
Right.
of how little I actually walked, how sedentary my life actually was if I didn't make an effort not to go and walk.
Mm-hmm.
So at least moving around, you're not doing as much harm on this chair.
No, in fact, we've just finished a study at the Mayo Clinic at Arizona State University, and what they found was that when you're sitting on this chair without doing the exercise, you're just sitting on the chair compared to a traditional chair, is that you burn about 17% more calories. That's not to suggest that it's a fat burner, but more that it's challenging your metabolism, so it's countering the sedentary effect of not moving.
Okay, how much is the chair?
Well, the chair retails in Canadian dollars at $11.95, and it has a 12-year warranty, and we offer a 60-day satisfaction guarantee.
So compared to other, you know, high-end office chairs, that's sort of in the ballpark. I know that I have a friend that works for Steelcase that supplies office chairs.
I've never heard of them before.
And they're up there. Oh, it's big. you may want to talk to them. We'll hook you up. But this is so. I mean that's a fair bit of money, but the benefits, I think, and obviously you believe, are worth it.
Well, Kate, you actually hit a really interesting point, because the reality is a lot of people that go to their new job, they arrive and it's got a desk and a chair. And they really don't know anything about it except that they sit for 8 hours a day and their back is killing them. So a lot of people really don't have a perception of the value of a chair. And a lot of times, through the history of the traditional office chair, it's been more about the aesthetics. It's been more about the image and the rank that somebody has within the organization. Now, this is a paradigm shift that's underway, that people are now more aware of the wellness in the workplace, the need to reduce absenteeism, and to counter the effects of presenteeism.
Well, when you think of really, if you compare it this way, say $1,200 for a chair, and I, who also have had a little bit of lower back pain, but again, it's just from sitting all week, right? I don't get it so much on a weekend. $1,200, and then counter that with, going to get a massage for lower back pain. What's that? $100?
$100.
So you get that
Once a month?
Once a month or once every couple of weeks, because you are sitting all day long. And meanwhile, you are challenging your core if you use this chair correctly. So you're not exactly getting a workout, but you're challenging your core a little bit. So you're doing something.
Right.
It's not really expensive if you look at it that way.
No, in fact, we've just been talking about the passive use of the chair in the office environment, but on our website we've actually created some CoreFit videos. Lisa's our professional trainer, and she's created 30 and 60-second videos, and I would invite you to try those because you can actually get a really good workout.
I like the footrest. Because
Yeah.
you can put your feet up on it, which I have a tendency to do. I tuck like this, but my shoes aren't sliding off because it's kind of
Treaded.
it's treaded. That's the word I was looking for.
Technical.
So what is your website? And you have some YouTube videos that people can see and things on your website. It's CoreChair.com?
Correct.
CoreChair.com. All right, so we're liking this. I've got a feeling, Christine, that we'd have to twist his arm up high behind his back to get him to leave our chairs. I think they're going to be wheeled out of the office. But it's been a good. We've been sitting on them for about an hour and a half now.
Yeah, now I have an idea of
not. I don't have numb bum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's good. Yeah.
And very attractive looking.
Why, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's the? How long ago was it that they designed the regular office chair? What we all know.
That's a good question. It's kind of like 150 years ago that the traditional office chair was designed with casters and armrests and a tall back. And a lot of people will look at this chair and they'll say, where's the back and where's the armrests? And when we got really involved in the design process, we kind of took a noble disregard to what was out there currently.
A noble disregard. I like that. Well, we were talking about how new stuff comes out and that we don't redesign or rethink about things like this. And obviously you have. And I think it's. I wish I hadn't got my husband to buy my Christmas present already. Thank you very much for coming in and letting us try it out. We really like it.
My pleasure.
Click the channel subscribe button for full-length interviews and more from What She Said here on YouTube.